Welcome back. We are tracking the impact of Prime Minister Modi's visit to the United States and all the deals that were signed. With us right now is Sanjay Nair, General Partner of Soren Partners. Sanjay Nair, I would like to ask you about access to technology and resilient supply chains. These were two pain points for India over the last few years. How do you think we have done and how we will do with the deals that have been signed last week?
India clearly needed technology and cutting-edge technology if India has to accelerate, which I think it will, into the third largest economy in the world. So I would say a whole range of critical initiatives on critical and emerging technologies was, I think, the highlight, frankly. And whether it is on the renewable side, whether it's on climate transition, on AI, I think a lot of good deals were struck, as evidenced, I suppose, by the fact that Micron committed a significant amount of money, and so did Applied Materials and Google's digitization fund. I think those are just early indications of the positive partnership that's emerging in the technology area. I think supply chain, especially on the solar side, is going to be very, very critical. Whether it's huge number of solar technologies, it's the cost reduction, it's carbon capture. There's just a lot that I think is being captured in this visit. I would say we'll see more of these announcements, and I think that is really what India could benefit from. So I think the Prime Minister's visit, as I've said before, was extremely strategic. I think it's much more strategic than one can make out. And I think he's really been pragmatic and practical. And there's obviously an equation that's there between the Indian and the US people. But more than that, I think his personal zeal and zest to go reach out and to talk to the president and to talk to the companies, to reach out to a diverse set of people, I think it's building a different kind of bond. And frankly, these kind of technologies come to you only when you have a huge amount of trust and understanding between each other. So I think it's pretty strategic, and a lot has been achieved. Now let's just see what more we get in terms of announcements and investments.
Right. Nilesh Shah, let me return to you. Thank you for being with us as well. How do you see two-way capital flows increasing as a result of the deal signed? Which sectors make you most excited?
Today, among global investors, earlier there was a trend of MSCI Asia ex Japan. Now there is MSCI emerging market ex China trend emerging. It's an early trend, but it reflects that for 3 decades Chinese market haven't delivered good return to investors. This is something which will get cemented thanks to all the positive coverage India has got during Prime Minister's visit. More importantly, as Mr. Vikram Handa was showing, it's a two-way traffic. Our companies are also going and investing in America and creating jobs. It's a win-win situation. If we look at healthcare system, 1/3 of doctors in US is of Indian origin. 45% of medicines consumed by volume is made in India. And cost of healthcare delivery in India is substantially cheaper compared to US. Again, collaboration in this kind of sector will create win-win situation for both the countries. And it is this kind of reason which will facilitate two-way traffic. So overall, this is Jugalbandi or partnership, both for creating win-win for US as well as India.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Shah. We'll request you to stay on with us. Let me also get in a word from Mr. Sanjay Nair and once again talk about the record performance of the markets. Mr. Nair, according to you, this is a question we had put to Mr. Chauhan, and we will be asking Nilesh as well. But what do you think is driving this growth, and how do you see this growth faring in the coming months? Do you think it will sustain?
India is a massive market. I think the growth is coming through, which you saw in the last quarter and the last full year GDP numbers. I think consumption is returning as well. And obviously investments being driven by the government infrastructure spend. I think all of this is coming together nicely. And of course, there's a lot of interest in India overseas, which is why you're also getting such huge amount of stock market flows from the foreigners. So I think it's a combination of things coming together. It's an interesting time for India. So I think the company's performance will do well. I think we can see the market going higher.
Right. Nilesh, we were speaking to Mr. Nair, and Mr. Nair also pointed out that one of the sectors which is possibly going to see the largest amount of investments and focus would be infrastructure. But according to you, how do you see the growth of the markets from here? Do you expect this rally to continue? What are the fundamentals that would drive the growth, and any word of caution that you would like to give us?
So today, our markets are seeing Triveni Sangam of flows, sentiments, and fundamentals. Global as well as local investors are buyers, and the supply from IPO, OFS, QIP hasn't emerged as much. Undoubtedly, flows are pulling the prices higher. Sentiment is positive towards India because there's hardly any country which has as strong macroeconomic foundation as India has today. We are truly oasis in the global desert. Flows and sentiment can reverse in no time. You need fundamentals to back up the valuation. Today, despite all-time high market, we are not at all-time high valuation. In fact, we are just little above our historical average and at a reasonable premium to our competitors. Will markets continue this trend? We are hopeful. Today, investors are paying premium to enter India because they expect 3G from India. Growth, our earnings growth will be superior to our peer group. Governance, our governance standards and respect for capital will be superior to our peer group. And our economy will transform into green economy. As long as India delivers on this 3G of growth, governance, and green, I think our markets and economy both will do well.
Right. Mr. Chauhan, my final question to you. We've completely run out of time. What are the fundamentals that will drive the growth of markets here onwards? You said it's a big moment for India, and some of it is also because of the Prime Minister's visit to the US. But going forward, what are some of the fundamentals that we will have to watch out for?
In some ways, again, this is for the market people to do it. I think governance is what I worry about. But overall, what I see is that the monsoon has suddenly appeared across India on one single day. And it's a pretty phenomenal day, I think a few days back when Mumbai and Delhi got monsoon on the same day, which is like, at least in my memory, I don't remember when it happened. So overall, despite El Nino, I think monsoon looks good. If monsoon is reasonable, India would certainly do well. Of course, the US tightening and the European monetary tightening needs to be watched. And overall, our own consumption, probably that will be also buoyed by the good monsoon. These are the few immediate factors, but long term, I think the demographic, which is India's sort of on India's side, the new technology creating newer wealth with young people actually mastering those technologies. Right. India is pretty much there. And so on a 20-30 year scale, I'm pretty sort of impressed by where we have reached and where we will reach. And there might be short-term things which may be positive, like today being a sort of exceedingly good monsoon day. But even if there are some short-term issues, long-term, we are looking really good.
All right. Mr. Chauhan, Nilesh Shah, Vikram Handa and Sanjay Nair, thank you very much for being with us here on CNBC TV 18, giving us your view on the Prime Minister's visit to the United States, which is being touted as unprecedented, and also the rally that we're seeing in Indian markets.